We're live. Okay. Okay. So we have Mojo, we have Jeff, and we have Ole, whose name I had right 5 minutes ago, and now I don't because it's been 20 minutes of hell. But we're here, and it's oh my god.
Nice.
So yes, the one and only Mojo. So hopefully the internet behaves this time. It
That'd
was
be
it
nice.
was it was 20 minutes of very a whole lot of stress. And this is really freaking hot. How do they do it? When I lived in the Middle East, we were there was the whole head cover thing. I'm like, no, it's hot. Uh, they're tough
Pulling
with
it
that.
off. It looks great.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yes. You did not end up doing that for nothing in the end.
I know that was probably the hardest thing. I'm like, no.
We literally just like we were like, all right, okay, let's reschedule. And then I said bye, and then you said, oh wait, it's green now, and here we are.
Here we are. Um, Also, thank you to our mods. We have Brad and Kylo, his owner, uh, watching over us, and I saw Veen go by, so we have 2 for 1. Everyone's favorite German. Jeff looks nervous.
I mean, I'm sure you could find a way to ban me from this right here, right now.
It's all good. It's all good. He's always
I have that button.
For those of you who are new, I am Meg, also known as DeadWomanWalking, longtime gamer, longtime survival game player. I got to thinking the other game I tried, survival game that I haven't talked about, was Icarus. I tried Icarus. I lasted like 2 hours. The learning curve was like, ow, and so I stopped. I heard it was tough. I didn't realize it was that tough. So, yeah, survival games. Mojo, tell us about you.
Oh, about me. I am very tired. That's who I am. Everyone, I'm Mojo. For those who don't know, I've become a piece of the furniture around the regular official Discord. I'm the founder of the Dune Awakening Community Wiki. And as you can probably imagine, I'm almost as tired as the 2 devs on this chat right now. It has been a crazy couple of weeks with the full release of the game. We've now got hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people visiting the wiki, and it's stayed up. It's not crashed, which has been truly incredible. So very happy about that. And yeah, that's me. Who's Mr. Hatman?
Jeff, tell us a little.
Hatman.
There you go. That's my new name.
Hatman.
Hate.
Anyway, is there anyone who doesn't know me in there? I guess probably, but yeah, I'm Jeff, the world director on Dune. I've been here before. I've been on the podcast before. It was really fun the last time. I was switching hat every time you were changing a video, but now I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna keep my hat that is almost sand color, and the orange shirt to be a bit. Oh shit! You have a hat. Oh, yeah, Team Fortress 2. My God! Wow. Anyway, yeah, world director of the game, and we're gonna chat about stuff, I guess. So yeah, I also am extremely tired because we just shipped a game.
It's been and our first time on.
First timer.
How are you feeling about it? You are shockingly calm. Is that a Scandinavian thing? Because I'm over here panicking at buttons not working. You're like, yeah, it's fine. Tell us about what you do for Funcom.
For Funcom, yes, I am lead producer at Funcom on Deep Dune Awakening, and it's my first timer at the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to be here. I mean, what I do, I don't know. What do I do, Jeff?
What does he do? That's such a good question. That's a cool thing. There was like earlier in my career, a producer told me, if you understand what I do, it's because I'm not doing my job properly. So yeah, that's what he does. He does stuff, and then stuff happens.
I was asked if I could help close the game as the launch producer. So my main topic for the last, I don't know, half a year has been making sure that this game gets shipped. That means ensuring that we have everything that we needed to prepare. Quality is in a good place. And I wish on time and
Your microphone is dying, Ole.
time.
It's been that kind of day.
My Arrakis has been or up now for a week. It's been on call.
Hey, your microphone is super dead, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, oh shit.
Can
Talk again.
Does it work now?
Yeah, now it works. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Don't move. Just
Stop-
hold that pose.
We said the same thing to Mojo earlier.
What
Stop
about now?
moving.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, for now.
Nice. Oh, Christina's in the chat as well. Hi,
Oh.
Christina.
That's his wife, by the way. That's what he didn't say.
Ah. Yeah, it's okay. So, world director and producer. Because when I think producer, I think kind of like project manager on steroids. Is that kind of sort of?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's
Kinda.
your job is to get shit done. Make sure that the team gets the stuff done in time, and that they have everything they need to work as fast as they can.
Awesome.
There's a lot of things that lies in within that, but yeah.
Before you start on this project, were you into Dune? Were you familiar with?
I was familiar with Dune. I played Dune, the RTS back in the days. So I know that game pretty well. And then I watched the Lynch movie, of course. But I didn't read the books until I started here. So when I started here on the project, I got started reading the books as well. And they're really good. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of in love with the whole thing now.
it's kind of insidious. It kind of grows on you.
It does, and you can definitely see how Dune is like the foundation for a lot of sci-fi in the later
Oh, yeah.
days.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
desert planet and people running around in the sand. Just can't imagine.
And
Exactly.
sandworms and stuff, right?
I remember
Yeah.
reading the post that Dune is just like a really, really high budget rip-off of Star Wars. Most of the budget
You got this
went
backwards, I think.
no. Most of the budget went into making a time machine to go back 10 years before,
Mm.
to release it just before Star Wars movies ever came out. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's start some fight about franchise, and things.
Oh no, see, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. So
I mean, no
love
one hates
True.
Dune as much as Dune fans. To be fair, we can't even agree what's canon.
yeah, it's the
Brian
fanfic
Brooks, the
faction.
encyclopedia.
The fanfic faction. Yeah, it's yeah. I have some of the books. There are
Some of
only
them.
6 books.
Yeah, you have books. Mojo has books. Ole has an office. I'm stuck in a dark canyon. That's
You're
pretty
stuck.
good.
You're stuck in the bottom of the rift.
Is there
Graben.
anything Dune on my desk? Can't see anything.
But I have
happy the book was.
the poster from Gamescom that Mojo sent me, and of course all the books and stuff, and my 2 mugs with my Awu mug,
Yes.
and I have a soft spot for Dune stuff.
Nice.
I'm a
And now
Dune
you also have your whole faces too.
my whole face, my whole face.
It's
This
really
apartment,
not
like,
make it
it's- the thing warned you it could last 4 days, and I'm like,
Nice.
I live in a part of England that people won't notice. They're like, let's just put it that way. This is for both of you guys. I got a question. This has been a 7-year-long project for you guys from the time that you kind of went, okay, let's do this to this week. It's been a long project. How do you guys keep yourselves motivated? Because I mean, the last 18 months, I'm done, man. I'd be like, Heffe
solution.
sent me a note the other day because I used to be nice in the Discord, and then the last few weeks I was not nice, and he sent me a note saying maybe you should stop talking with
Yeah,
him.
I was like, hey, by the way, you're the one saying name now. You should probably stop because the other guy is gonna run away with it.
Yeah.
But the solution, Meg, is to not start on the project at the start. I
That's
mean,
true.
Ole, you've been there for 4 years, I think, but I've been there for a bit more than 2.5.
Yeah.
And that's usually my top. Like that's when I just can't anymore. All of the project I have done in the last 20 years is when I reach 3 year, I'm sick and tired. It
It's
has
a
to
long
ship.
time.
Has to ship. Right?
Yeah.
Now it's different. It's a live game. But like we've shipped the game now, so it's kind of like we've kind of reset for
And you become
be able to last another 3.
exactly, and you can be kind of blind on your own work as well. So you kind of
Oh, yes.
end up going in circles sometimes and kind of not knowing the forest for the trees and stuff like that. So it's interesting. It's like a whole journey to work on a project for that long.
But we're talking with there's another Jeff at work, production director. And he's the OG number one. He was on
There's
the
a few, but he is one of them.
he's
Yes.
one of those. He started the day the project started, like 6 whatever years ago. This though, I don't understand how he was able to last. That's too much. Way too much time.
Yeah, there's a few more Jeffs.
Yes.
Can the universe handle that many?
I mean, I used to work at a place that had 7 Stevens and a Stefan. And
In
Too
all my
many.
world travels, I've only met 2 other people who have my given name. I'm related to one of them, and my ex-husband's first wife has the same first name as I do. That
Nice.
wasn't awkward at all.
No, exactly.
I mean, it sounds like he has a type.
Hey, Sorvina in the chat. That's funny. That is funny because Jeff last name, the other Jeff last name is literally Hatton. That's Jeff Hatton. That's his name, and he always has a cap. So yes, he's the OG, real, true Hatton.
So you're the copycat, Jeff.
Oh, 100%.
When things get tough like this, I guess the last couple of weeks have been probably the most stressful with all the closing of the closed beta and getting all the patches done and the last bits done, and then the nail biting of going live. How do you? I mean, you sat here and watched me have a hyperventilating panic thing over this not working for 5 minutes. How do you keep from having a meltdown? Because like I said, Jeff was like, stop talking to people. He was nicer about it. And in fairness, my penance, I did go into the open Discord and I helped people for a solid hour.
Well, this question is for Ole because I was not stressed at all for launch. Like, Ole is part of the people that are doing a lot right now. I'm not, because the world is done. Like, it's been done for a while. So, like Joel said the same thing in some sort of talk we had in the office to celebrate the launch, right? People like us doing content. Well, we just hope for the best that the tech team and the tech is gonna hold. There was no reason for us to stress, right? So yeah. Ole, though, you can talk about that probably. That's a different story.
There's a lot that goes into a launch like this. It's not just the game. As Jeffrey says, it's like building the world is one thing, but then you gotta ship it and to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of players, right? And they need servers for this to run on. They need customer support. They need a whole like infrastructure around that they can rely on for the game to run. So and then I will not have to handle all of this. This is a huge effort. There's a huge team behind this. But yeah, all of the marketing that goes into it, all of the community work. There's so much that goes into it. So a little bit stressful because everything kind of needs to land, and it needs to land right at the same time. But I think the way you handle it, you just have a good team that you can lean on, and you can kind of work on it together. So it's not like if you fucked up and you missed like a point on the list that you should have remembered. There's a chat with like 10 other people who are also helping catch those. So it's the team. That's what keeps you from melting down and make sure that you can get it all right.
That's always. I'm envious. I'm envious. Having a good team though makes it good. I think we were talking about that a little bit in the last podcast. Bean and I were talking about. Jeff, you asked us what the best part about that was, and we talked about Awu. The team around the whole vibe around Awu, and as much as sometimes the Discord got spicy and heated, and mutes were handed out and slow modes were slapped on. it was a community that wanted one thing, and that was to have an excellent Dune survival game. We just couldn't agree always what that looked like, but we all wanted the same thing. That was the goal, and having all of that input. That's when Bean said, that was his home for so long. It's like, that's the Discord. I still click on it every now and then. And I'm like, it's empty.
It's showing for us, so we can go in there, see all of it. I'm sorry.
I left the Discord the day we stopped the thing, right?
No.
And then I was like, there was this void, right? So I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, it was
It's
really
just the main
weird.
Discord now. So then I poked Marius and I was like, hey, can I join the Forge Discord? I just need another Dune Discord. I need 2, right? I could have went to HWC.
But there was a vibe there. There was a.
Welcome to come in.
Nah. 2 Discord. I already have 2. That's fine. And no way I'm not gonna join the refugee one.
Fine, we'll all chat about you instead.
Yeah, that's fine. Exactly. That's perfectly okay.
I do have the launch trailer. I want to show it because I think it was the love story between Harkonnen and the Atreides was killing me. It was fun though, so we got to watch the launch trailer. Well, I clicked the button.
Oh, it's button time.
Rated M for mature.
Volume okay? Volume okay? I want a rocket launcher to go after the mercenaries with. They're very comfortable with it. I'm trying to get into the thing for you here.
still gives me chills.
That's a really badass trailer, I must say. That's
Yeah.
good
I
freaking
want a
joke.
rocket launcher in Hago Basin South.
Oh yeah. I think my favorite shot is when she's standing there with her knife,
And she's
looking
looking at
towards
him like,
him.
Yes.
It's really
I,
cool
I
shot.
like how it's quite a professional thing. It brings it from being just like large open epic battle on the sound, obviously having a bit more of a personal kind of connection where you're not just fighting and you're living.
Is it just me who can't hear Steven properly?
Don't say that microphone again.
the internet really
And
hates
you
us
guys'
talking
microphone,
today.
jeez. Is my microphone okay?
It's just
You're
Yeah,
fine.
I'm a better now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we told you before, don't move.
Okay, I'm gonna be very boring very quick. Yeah, how it's more kind of brings it a personal touch.
Then it goes again.
God's sake, stop! I'm not even moving.
I know. The moment you start talking, it goes underwater.
What? Hold on, let me. If I move,
It's I think whatever is causing Twitch to bite it is just impacting all of us.
should just be generally fair.
Jeff, there was something I was going to ask you that we didn't get to last time. This is not your first world that you've created, is it? You've done other games, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a thing when you sit down to plot out a world? What is I gotta ask? What is something that you just absolutely you're like? I have to have this thing in here somewhere. Like poison traps or radiation, or is there
Or radiation. No, I don't go that. It's not part of the plan, really. Well, I mean, kind of. It just came on, right? Like it's the first game I made as a world director. I worked on many worlds before, but I was not the one like in charge, right? So there's a big difference here. The world that the team made is following the direction that I gave them, including all the other directors. Like how it looks, it's not me, it's the art director. How it sounds, it's not me, it's the audio director, and so on and so forth. And but yeah, it's the interesting thing with this one though, and I wrote it on my LinkedIn, in fact, because I saw the article from PC Gamer talking about the world, and they had a quote about how vertical the world is, even not super high and super low, right? And that's one of the first thing I said to the team when I started in this project. I said, "Hey guys and gals, we're gonna make the most vertical desert ever made." And you're like, "Okay." That's a bit counterintuitive, right? But yeah, that's the thing I had. The most important thing for me was like we need
And-
to not make something that is flat.
And the fact that you're reporting this from the bottom of Haga is kind of
Yes.
I was going to say that's the
But it's
most Paul Sterling.
but that's the thing, right? And then the world is a long story. I did a presentation in the studio here in Sweden the day we launched the game about how far we've gone, and what you've seen even from the first day of the beta is so far from what we had when we started, right? And everything came along like the Sheol. Radiation was not a, a thing there when I first thought about it, right? I even before that it was called the Shimmering Boneyard before it became the Sheol. And I think you might remember that from the first day of beta. I think we still had those massive metal pieces everywhere, right?
Yep.
And then we had to remove that because there was some performance problem with it. But like at some point we're like, we need this region to be kind of cool, right? And something different. And then John Michel, our lead level designer, I think he was like, we could have radiation. That would be kind of great. And then the design was made, and we added that thing, and so on and so forth. So it's just like it's a team effort. Right? I always say, I just point at things mostly.
And then the team makes it happen.
Yeah, 100%.
You're really good at pointing, though.
Yes. Was the world and overall game held back by technical limitation? Nah.
I mean, it's all limitations just making a game. Your computer is unlimited, so yeah,
Yeah, but it's just like
like,
it's I would not say limitation, I would say constraint. Like it's
yeah,
just it's the frame. It's the frame you have to live with. Like we're working with Unreal 5. When we started the project, it was on Unreal 4, and then at some point we switched to Unreal 5 in the middle. That was an absolute pain, right? And then it comes with constraint, and then why is there only 60 people in Haga? Because if we have more, the servers are gonna die because the world is super dense and so on and so forth. Right? So it's all the constraint you have to deal with, right? Like the
exactly.
biggest constraint we had for the world, and I think I talked about it last time, is the freaking worm. It takes so much space to move.
Why?
Like the amount of
It's a
back and forth,
big worm.
the amount of back and forth we had, quote unquote, the world team and the Sandworm team, to find some metrics for the world team to be able to build and place the rock formation to make sure that yes, you can cross, but like at the start you can make it on foot. It's scary. Is it? It's just far enough so the worm is gonna pop, but there's almost no chance you're gonna get eaten. Like all of these things, right? It's the constraint of making a game. So, and a technical limitation is not really right.
Just a thing. The question for both of you, and this came up during the podcast. Um, we spent a lot of time in the closed beta doing bug reports, but there was also a space for feedback, things that we wanted, things that we didn't want, things that we liked, didn't like. Um, I need to hear you say that we actually did impact things. My poor little
100%.
ego needs
100%.
Oh
to,
yes,
needs to hear that we
absolutely.
participated.
It was.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad we did this, by the way, because you helped shape the world and the game so much. Like every piece of feedback we read.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
feedback.
absolutely. And
A lot of
like,
feedback.
yes, some of us, I was writing a lot in the Discord and Joel was writing a lot, right? But Ole was there also, writing from time to time, but he was reading a lot. And then there was a lot of directors there also, just reading. It was just there to read, right? They were not interacting, but they were reading everything. And combat got better because of the feedback we got. And then there's even small thing, the quick deposit, right? That was added because of
Oh
the
yeah.
feedback from the beta.
Yeah.
And the fact that now even the quick deposit to vehicle is the press F instead of hold F, that's also feedback from the player.
Yep.
And so on and so forth, right?
And also, not to mention all of the bugs that you all
Yeah,
found and reported with videos, with descriptions. It's just, yeah, bugs and crashes. All of it just helped shape the game.
100%. Absolutely. Like, if you had any doubt that was useful, like, it was extremely useful.
I definitely hope so. It was painful in the early days.
There were times I mentioned in the last podcast when we were going to the deep desert when Mojo took me the first time was when we were getting ready for the bike race, and he's laughing as he remembers Meg going bucket, 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 as we were trying to get across there because there were issues, and the the way vehicles fly has changed several times because I'd like to think it wasn't just us bitching and moaning. It was actual, what can we do to make it, be changed. The HUD changed a couple of times. The way Vulture works a couple of times. Fuel economy changed a couple. Everything about the vehicles changed multiple times, and I was always curious just how much was that you guys looking at mechanics and numbers on y'all's end, saying this is not working versus our howls of help.
I don't know if
It's-
I can percentage it in a way, but there's just a nice mix of, like, we have a vision for the game on our end that we want to achieve, and then we take the feedback that you give us and the things that you report, and that challenges our vision or our designs, and then sometimes helps shape it in much or like in bigger or smaller ways, I would say. Like the quick deposit button is one thing, but then there's larger things, I'm sure of as well. I can't remember anything right now because they're so like the larger things are things that require just a lot of input before you make those changes. So there'll be like many small rivers that turn into a big one that makes that big change, right?
Oh, I know a good few of them from like, I mean, because it was like very, very early beta, it'll probably still be under NDA, but some major things that changed, I remember.
I mean, lots of things change, and
Like,
there's like
fundamental.
it's so extremely hard to gather feedback and act upon it. You have to go for the greater,
Oh yeah, buggy storage to
respecting
chest.
the vision and things, but it's just like, there was this person in the Discord at the end of the beta. It was like, if they would have listened to me, the game would be fixed, right? And it's just like, I mean, no, it's just like that's like we always have person A saying you should do this and person B saying you should do that, and it's the absolute opposite, right?
Yeah.
On every single thing we did, there's was
Remember-
person A saying X and then person B saying Y, and then it's like, okay, which feedback is more in line with the vision of the game?
I remember
Right.
you sent me a screenshot of the 2 Reddit threads back to back.
Yes.
Just like, please have more servers. Don't have too many servers.
I saw those.
I mean,
saw
we
that.
have internally, we have these the community manager and the customer service team. They gather information, right? They read the Discord and they gather a lot, and they kind of synthesize everything and send that to the devs,
Yep.
at least the leads and the manager and stuff, so we can look at things and be okay. Yeah, that's going fine and stuff. But I remember one that Camille sent at some point, and the pros was the game looks really good, and the con was the game looks really bad. So it's like,
I love
okay.
those,
Yeah,
like
so it's
side
just
by
like-
side.
That's just how it is. Players are saying the game looks good. Players are saying the game looks bad. So
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
We saw a lot of this comment over the summer and into the fall. When a wave would hit, we'd always know in the open Discord when a wave would hit because we'd get all the lost lambs that were in the wrong Discord. And there was always the salty ones saying, well, the game is going to fail because they don't have my input. And they, I have this experience and if it won't be right if it's not mine. And we're like, that's some ego.
yeah, but it's just how it is, right? And
Oh, yeah.
even the beta players who've been there since the beginning, the two of you, and so much more, right? The game, you said it, the game has changed a lot, right? And the data we have and the feeling is that we made it better. But some
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I do so much better last January because it was so hard. Like it was like we were dying every 5 seconds. It was really great. It's like, yeah, okay, exactly. Some people would like that. It's true, but to stay true to the vision that we have, the game we
Yeah.
have shipped this week is the culmination of all the feedback and all the staying true to the vision.
I think the term, like a very, like I guess a dry term used about this is data informed, right? So you'll be
Yes.
data informed by the community who tells you what they're thinking. You'll be data informed in by telemetry because we have a bunch of telemetry on how the game plays as well. And then we'll have our own thoughts and visions and dreams and designs and all of that stuff. And then together it turns into a game.
Yes.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things, especially when you're a beta tester or engaging with the game for such a long period of time, is you get very blinded to your own biases at that point. I think we've talked about it before, but is it when you've got over 1,000 hours in the game, or 2,000 hours, I think I might be up to, and it's like, oh, I find this easy. I find it trivial. I find
Yeah.
it trivial. I can just go through Hacker Basin South. I can complete the whole zone within 30 minutes, not die once. And I'm just like, oh, this is trivial. But then if it wasn't easy after 2,000 hours, then it would be totally impenetrable to new players who've never even picked up a survival game.
It's
So,
easier now
Exactly.
because we suffered at first when there wasn't a tutorial, when there wasn't the extended bit, when the journey steps weren't there. It was our pain and suffering that has made it attainable by the typical masses. 'Cause I think
Ah.
Joel and Jeff both said many times, we weren't the ones that stuck it out aren't typical players because
Yeah.
between beta and the hours we were putting in, we're abnormal.
100%. I also, by the way, see the VBT mentioned in here. That was a community.
Yeah.
Kind of came out of a pain point that we saw from the beta testers, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, VBT was one because I was so happy we made the decision right? There's a narrative justification into why this thing like happens, right? Joel has the thing here, but yeah, it's like shit, how the stuff was built and things, and that's also a bit on my side, right? In the world that sometimes it's like I just want to go on the other side of my bike is here. Damn it, I'm just gonna have to go drive all around, right? Well, then there was this magic thing that came in and doop, jump, doot, there we go, continue, right? So yeah, another thing that came from the community, 100%. And there's so many more that I can't remember. There's so much stuff.
There was that 2 weeks when there was a problem and the VBT was broken. That was like the most painful 2 weeks. Because just see, Mojo's like, no, that was the most painful 2 weeks. About the middle of things when there was the duping problem and the crashes, and so you guys took away the VBT from it. It was pain. It was so pain. And a lot of players like, they should take it away from us. I'm like, you could have mine when you pry it out of my dead cold hands. No one's making you use it if you want to play hardcore.
The database problem we had at some point also. Just people were just losing their thing. Just like, log in, everything's gone. That's it. Everything's gone. Start again.
Yeah, there's just so many kind of things that, I think a lot of people, you kind of see this in like the public Discord over the last 2 years, how people just assume that the beta test was kind of going to be like, some of the marketing betas that a lot of other games have had over the many years, where it's a free demo. You just get in the game and you can just play it for as long as you like and maybe give a feedback or report a bug here and there. Like, oh no, just...
No, the marketing beta was...
I like how the first test of ACL is, who is it that thinks? Those who suffer. We think a lot. We think so much.
Watching some of the players who came in, I guess, with that expectation, and then they would leave long feedback about why they were so disappointed, and some of us were like, so what you're saying is this was not the game for you, and beta testing survival games is not what you thought it would be. You didn't need to leave a 4-page essay. But I get it.
I've seen a question that I want
to... Shit, that's a funny question. No, I would probably puke. I'm that kind of person who puts something and it's like, I remember when I before the first Oculus was a thing, we had one when I was still working at Ubisoft back then, like it was probably 18 years ago now. I remember testing the first Oculus, and I think I tested it for 2 minutes, and oh my god, I wanted to puke for like 45 after.
The first
it was
one
horrible.
The first one was terrible, though.
Yeah, that's not happening. No.
But no, I haven't went into VR. Also, I've seen this world so much. Way too much.
Yeah.
Good question. That was good.
It's been a thing. I have a slideshow because I'm a dork.
Yes.
That has a few things, and then we can bounce around. I also have 4 new radio ads to premiere.
Nice.
These have been a work in progress.
To hear the Ole radio ad.
I need to make a product. I need to figure out a good product placement. Is this the thing? And that was the hard part. I have, yeah. But first, let me see if I can do the doohickey here. I need to do a PowerPoint. Allow it.
He's getting better at the buttons.
I'm getting better with the buttons. This one, it wouldn't let me preset it up ahead of time. It doesn't like it. So let me make sure we're all on the same screen. So launch week. People are being persnickety. That was the best question. For those of you not in the main official Discord, even if you mute it because it is very busy, do keep an eye on the announcements, because it lets you know when downtime is. It has the patch notes, and those are really, really, really important to be aware, especially the early weeks when we're doing patches and things are going up and down. just keep an eye on it, because I see lots of people going, I didn't know it was going down. Well, it literally told you an hour ago it was going down. So do join that official Discord if you haven't already. And with that, the quest. This is super easy. Play the game, and then you get a big mural. It's awesome, and it is a big mural. It's like a whole 2-block wide mural. It's very nice. Thank you guys for that. Also, in the Discord, there is a channel called, I think it's Status. And in there, it has these 4 links to different community makers. Bean did the top one, to let us know when stuff goes up and down. So you can kind of get an idea for your personal Discord. Hey, is it up or down, or is it just me? Given the way the internet has been the last couple of days, it can go either way. The wiki is Mojo's baby. Definitely helpful. Has all the goodies. It is all primary sources, so you can trust it, unlike some that are not so trustworthy.
King the team slop.
Around. We've seen some wiki that were I don't know, 97% AI generated, or maybe 100% even. It was these things that I was like, even people on our side who know the game a bit less were like, do we really have like bonus to crafting if we choose this?
I was about to say, if
80% hydration benefit. Like,
yeah, exactly. If you choose Pyre, you get social reputation increase.
Yeah.
We don't even have reputation. Like we have the faction standing, but reputation is not even a thing.
There's so much weird stuff. We've seen like paid like websites selling skill points. Like what?
Yes.
Like selling skill points, or even sandworm killings. Like you can buy.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense.
What was the other thing? Yeah, there was another thing we've seen also that made absolutely no sense. Selling some stuff that you cannot buy and you cannot get in the game for just like real money. But I don't know.
So
I hope it just doesn't. I hope nobody ever fall for these.
Yeah, I think my favorite one was like some videos in 2023 that were entirely AI generated, and saying how you can clean your own pet sandworm and raise it into a mount and summon it wherever else. Like, oh, that was so much fun to play that game.
Solari farmers have already started popping up. Guys, Solari is not hard to get. It's not. Don't spend real money on something that you could do for yourself in an hour. Just don't.
That's what I said. I was like, if at least they would sell Plastanium.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it would make sense, but selling Solari? Come on. Come on. Oh.
I put that in there. There's still lots of confusion. Worlds are separate. They don't touch other worlds. A little bit over here on the side, separate worlds. More, it's all good. As of the 10th, so when the game dropped on official live, full blown dropped, that's pretty darn good, guys. I hope you guys all did a round of applause and stuff for each other, because you guys earned that. That was you guys.
Yeah, we were pretty. We had the. I don't want to say. Don't even know what I want to say, because we were kind of baffled by the positive response. It's been amazing. Like, we knew that we had something good because we liked it ourselves, but you never know how the audience will receive it until it's in their hands.
Yeah.
So seeing this kind of response was amazing.
Yeah, it was extremely good, and we have an internal channel on Slack about the coverage of the game, and it was always a bit slow, and it was mostly community manager or PR people posting about, oh, this article this article that. But now Tasha, she had to kind of create some rules, because the whole dev team was just spamming thing about how hype everyone is, and duplicate and triplicate of posts in the same
I
thing. And
loved it.
oh look, we're at 86 now. Oh look, we're at 86.2. Oh, we're at 86.7. Oh, and just like this amount of spam we got, like yeah, the whole
We
thing
all
was
saw the
pretty
same
hyped.
spam, but it was exciting. It was exciting
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see the
absolutely.
positive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's then all the article came by, and when the game dropped the first hour, yeah, we were at like mostly negative. We had like, I don't know, 31 or something. But yeah, and then like some devs were like, "Oh my god, this is crazy bad. What the fuck is happening?" And things. I was like, well, but just go read the reviews. This is the people who cannot play because their private server is not running or whatever, right? Like the people who were playing the game didn't have time to review the game. But then we saw it in our internal data that when we had to do the maintenance to patch, right? Well, people could not play anymore, and bang! All of a sudden, we got this massive boost of positive review because, well, people had the time to review the game now because
Yeah.
they were not playing anymore. So yeah, it's just what it is, right? It's in the reviewing the game in the first 30 minutes. You probably didn't have really not that happen, right? So, but
Yeah.
it did really well.
I know some of it was probably legitimate. There's people with driver problems and that sort of thing, and that's
Yeah.
that's process to patch and between you and driver people. But yeah, if people are, I think there were people who had determined already. There were people from the closed beta that were upset. There were people that were from the open beta that were upset. There were people who didn't play at all that were upset because it didn't match their vision, and they were just saying,
That's always going to happen, and that's also kind of fine. Like you can't. The game is not going to be for everyone, but it's the game
yeah,
for a lot of people, and obviously also the things in the beginning, like with if people are having driver problems, we have customer support going there, helping them out, pointing them to the right driver that has the whatever fix we need, and there's like if there's queuing that's happening, then we'll work through that and spin up new servers and make sure that we get hardware in place and that we're ready. So I think also a lot of the negative reviews that we got in the beginning were people really wanted to play, but they couldn't as well. And then some of them have turned now because we've helped them get into
yeah.
the game and get started, right? So that's also a part of it. So it's a huge shout out to our customer service and community team and everyone on the live ops team, everyone who's working basically around the clock to make sure that this is as smooth as possible.
It's you guys have been in the discords, and Andy and Iggy have been trying to do crowd control in there. I've seen Jeff pop in a couple of times. It's the
I don't
scroll.
anymore. There's too many people now.
It's too many
People
people.
doubt.
No, it is a lot of people. I was watching the numbers go up and down, and you can tell when patches happen, and then back up, and it just keeps going up every time. I mean, it's the middle of the week, but you can see. I think as time goes by over the next few weeks, that top number, I think it's gonna go up a little bit. People are streaming it like crazy. People are watching the streams, and I think that you guys put out something pretty darn excellent.
I mean, Shroud, shout out to freaking fellow
Yeah.
Canadian Shroud. He streams 17 hours every single day. He just
Yeah.
cannot stop playing. And every time he has his bags bigger than mine, and he's like, I just want to keep playing, but I have to go to bed.
You guys did
It's wild.
some magic that it's addictive, and I don't know what it is. Even early on, we had that first
Oh.
wave was like 6 days, and we were like, can we go back? Can we go back? Can we go back? Can we go
The
back?
amount of people, like, when they were getting in the beta, and I was just like, okay, listen, in 2 days' time, I'm going to have to tell you to stop playing. Like, I warn you, it's addictive. And I did, every time. I was just like, right, you go to bed.
Yeah, people
I'm
thought
going
I
to
was
kick you from the guild.
nuts. Like this is your
Don't go
new
to bed.
addiction. This is you're going to be scratching for it every time. When we would have a downtime for updates, and the Discord would explode of people going, "I gotta play. Is it up? Is it up? Is it up?"
I know the
You know?
feeling. I've been there.
It is really funny to see like every morning when the server restarts, and the sudden in just the Discord, but people servers down, they're real spice addicts. They're just like,
Yep.
get on the fix, please.
The scratch and
Yeah.
start immediately.
There you go.
Once you enter Arrakis, you can never leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like Hotel
they've been
California.
doing too many bowls full of drugs in strange caves.
Yep.
It's just way too much.
Thinking about high traffic, that is the wiki traffic. That was earlier this afternoon.
Was
Yeah,
that
you
big
can tell.
the beta weekend?
That was beta
Yep.
weekend. Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Beta weekend, where it was like, how? To be fair, when the game first started, and we were kept out. Some of us were kept out of the main beta Discord for a long time because they wanted different feedback from us. So we were soloing it without any. How do I do the thing? Where did you hide the trials? We couldn't ask anybody.
Yeah, all these goddamn Landsrad envoys.
Um,
Find every single one of them.
because you guys moved the trials around based on our feedback because we couldn't find shit. And
I'm trying to make
times
a
I
wiki
wanted
here. Stop moving things.
I
The
know.
thing I was laughing a bit when I because of the beta weekend, there's a lot of YouTube video that dropped about guide for this and this and that, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was joking with the team, and I was like, we should have moved everything after the beta weekend, so all the guides would be absolutely obsolete. So everyone would start fresh. But
Yes, it was
no,
A
that
lot
would
of them were.
that
Like,
would have
I
been
think-
really stupid and broke the game because too many
It's like-
human clicks, right? But
I
yeah.
really feel for a lot of people who have spent a lot of time, first of all making skill builders, and also
Oh,
then
yeah.
like perfecting their build perfectly, and just like I obviously because of NDA I couldn't tell them. It was just like, yeah, that was patched like a day after the.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're all changed now. It's too late.
all the
Literally everything had changed and move around. And it's like, "Arr."
as feedback happens and people you realize, especially when large numbers of people are doing a thing and you're like, okay, this is not what we thought it was. That's to be
Where is Derek?
Derek.
Derek is everywhere.
I
That's the
asked-
thing, is Derek.
Exactly.
Derek was the friend
Vanessa.
we made along the way.
Yes.
I asked Vanessa, I was like, did you guys deliberately set out to make him the most hated man on Arrakis, or has he just got bad luck?
Derek is 100% Joel. Like that's his thing. That's the thing he makes.
That's what he's always on
that's
walkabout.
Joel.
That's,
Yes.
He's got the
it's
toe
100%
samples on
Joel.
and everything.
That's Joel.
If you look really closely at his model, he does have toe samples on. And it's just
I think Joel had a fun time making or writing Derek.
Yeah.
Derek standing in the flaming bush. Derek.
Yeah, there was a time in the beta that Derek was always on fire because there was a fire camp too close to him and he's invincible, so he was just burning.
I mean, deserved. Very well
I
deserved.
remember
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Just burning
Nobody
Derek.
reported that as a bug. We just saw him as Satan. So
Yeah, exactly. It's about sending a message. Right? Of what to do.
I love it.
That was probably, when we think about fun bugs, Derek being on fire was a fun bug. The twerking Thopters was a fun bug for about 5 minutes.
Yes.
There's
It was
some of
fun
those.
to watch, not so fun to fly.
Yeah.
I remember my disco crawler.
Yeah,
So much-
still crawler, but that bug is still there.
that's hard to get now. Though.
Yeah, it's really hard to get,
It's
but
rare.
that's the problem, right? Like let's start about that. Let's go freaking straight to the point. Well, like, oh my god, there's bugs and this and that. What is the QA team doing and this? Like, let's be honest here. Like, how many QA a project has? I worked on really big project when I was at Ubisoft and at DICE. And you have like, I don't know, we had like maybe 400 people playing the game, testing the game. Sorry, this is nothing. When you drop a game and there's 1 million people playing, they're gonna find the weirdest fucking shit.
Yeah.
There you
Excuse
go.
my French.
Find it.
You can imagine. This is wild, right? And it's like it's impossible, especially the game of that size.
And especially a sandbox, because a sandbox you will be able to do things in so many different permutations and ways. If it's a linear game where you have a much bigger
Yes.
control of like the environment, everything, it becomes easier. But
Like the flying worm, Sky Hulu,
Yeah.
right? We
Sky
still
Hulu.
we still have no idea what makes this problem a thing. Like it's just like it's so rare, right? It's so rare that like it's impossible to repro or QA are trying and they just
Terrifying.
cannot repro the problem. But since there's hundreds of thousands of people recording themselves playing the game, and then, pop, yeah, there's one that fly here. There's one on Reddit. There's one on Instagram. There's one on TikTok, and then it gets a lot of traction, right? And it's just like, and every time I take a video, I send it to the team, and I'm like, hey, there's another flying worm, and they're like, the QA are like, we just cannot find. We don't know. We don't understand how it's happening.
Someone needs to do an Instagram for Sky Halud, and it's just videos.
Yes.
As the worm went for a jaunt today. That's just own it. It's a thing. It's.
I think
there's a lot of them aren't like, it's not just this is the cause for this bug. There's like 20,000 causes for one bug. You can like smash a bunch of them, and then but the symptoms of the bug still remain. So it looks like you've not done anything when actually 90% of the causes have been fixed.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, Sky Halud is terrifying. At least it's not fun.
But that's the tame Sky Halud, because you met the real Sky Halud. Mojo lost so many Topter flying because the worm was eating stuff.
Why did you make them faster than Topters? Why? I just flying along, and all of a sudden my camera's zooming out, and I was like, "Oh no, it's behind me, isn't it?"
We had some interesting bugs in the beta.
But I think the beautiful thing about the worm, it is actually like there's an AI behind it. It's not just a super scripted event.
No, and that's why it's so annoying to work with.
But it makes it really cool. Like it makes really cool interactions for the players. It's really cool. But it makes it a hell to QA.
And then also sometimes you see, I think it was Pirate Software that was also, there was a little clip of the worm in the deep desert just like dolphin its way out. Like,
the Free Willy worm. That's
the Free Willy worm. The Free Willy worm, there's Sky Halud, and recently there was Sky Halud also because the worm was gone, right?
So for all the players who go, well, if you just know it's pathing, you can skip it. It's like, can you though?
No.
Can you?
I have already died to the worms in the full game, and that was I was on Rolling Thunder 84's stream with him, and just out of nowhere, just straight up, immediately ate us both when we were on our sandbikes crossing. I was just like, oh, this is some fresh bullshit right here. The thing is, right now, because the threat mechanic, and there's so many people hitting the desert, the worms are just permanently pissed off.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just absolutely furious at all of these, clodding sleepers walking along the sand.
He might actually have remembered you from the beta, and that's why it just...
Yes.
I'm 90% sure that Iggy was controlling most of the worms in the beta, specifically against me. I know that at least some of you were sat there with the controls on the sandstorms. Just, Mojo's in the deep desert.
When the storm used to turn?
Yes. Remember the time there was 3 storm at the same time?
Yes.
At night.
There was a 1 and a 3 cutting across at opposite directions, and we were like, the fuck are you guys doing?
That was cool. I remember that. That was wild when there was 3 storm in the Haga Basin coming into 3 different directions.
Because you had every Haga Basin had its own storms, but it was duplicated across all of them.
And we heard the alarm every 10 minutes.
5 storms on all of them.
Yeah.
Hated it.
That was awful. Speaking of beta, I made an ad for us. So
on Arrakis, water is life, and hygiene even more precious. Introducing Dune Beta Wipes, the only moisture-sealed, spice-resistant wet wipe approved by the firmen themselves. Whether you're dodging sandworms or sitting through a long Lazrad meeting, Dune Beta Wipes keep you clean, cool, and combat-ready. Don't let the desert win. Stay fresh. Stay strong. Choose Dune Beta Wipes. Moisture smart, sand sharp.
It's just remembering the wipes that we had,
Well,
Sorry.
there's also, there's the Dune beta wipes, but you've seen all the clip of people like not dying to the worm by a hair. They also need wipes.
They definitely do.
I have
pretty quickly if their still suit is fitted correctly.
I have another one on that track. So here we go.
You should
Tired of sand getting everywhere? Yeah, we know. It's Arrakis. Introducing Dune Wipe, the galaxy's first wet wipe tough enough to survive a sandstorm and your uncle's spice hallucinations. Made with 0.1% moisture, because that's all we're legally allowed, and infused with desert freshness, Dune Wipe keeps your crevices clean, even when the worms come sniffing. Whether you're in a still suit or just sweating from anxiety, wipe right with Dune Wipe. Dune Wipe, because sand in your butt is not a rite of passage.
Okay.
Wow.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I remember, Ole, the line, I think it was probably the beta also at the beginning when Santara was talking about drinking your piss.
Drinking your piss, yeah. Yes, the
There's
classic.
this line, he was super rough about like, yeah, you gotta drink your piss. I think that line was removed, and now he's just talking about the liquid feces.
Liquefied
That doesn't
feces.
count as hydration. But
You know the trials that are broken, right? The broken altars. The things you just played, those are the ones that you could have learned.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. The test of a cool number 6 is about Dune wipes.
We need to get these in the
Yeah, trying to keep some humor in the ads because the universe itself is kind of dark.
But Joel still integrated a lot of really. There's still a humor still in the writing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's
some
definitely
stuff that are dark. There's some stuff that are more funny. There's the water cellar, sook, like crazy freaking.
Oh, I love it.
I
So
really
many
like.
fond memories making a game.
Yeah.
I still love Cyprian Isle. How his grandmother's trying to hook him up with a wrist, and it's just like, Eric. So yeah, I really love a lot of the characters.
we've as the NPCs have been fleshed out and added to it more dialogue because for a while we had some text and sometimes they just stared at you, sometimes they had no face while they stared at you. That was a fun one. We came back from a wipe and we're all going to Arakeen and we're like, so we're in a horror game now. It's just some eyeballs staring at us.
Can you hear me again?
Yes.
Yep.
I can always hear you, but not well.
I'm just underwater occasionally. That's how rich I am. Like
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just underwater.
There's so much water.
I'm a water baron. I'm trying to stay as still as I can for it.
I have 2 more ads. Are y'all up for them?
Oh
Yep.
yes.
Okay.
Always.
So
What was that is gonna say?
I haven't been. I'm never on whenever a lot of you guys are on because you guys popped in like 2 o'clock in the morning and shit. And
Ale doesn't go to bed.
I know. Yep. And for a bit, there was a lot of focus on channels that I had muted because they were so active, and I'm like, I can't keep up. And you know which channels I'm talking about. They were just very, very active, very, very lively. Let's put it that way. But when patches came and when updates came, it was always, Live Ops was always there to ask questions and to, keep us updated as best as y'all can, because sometimes it's just a matter of waiting to figure a thing out. So I did one for Live Ops.
Nice.
Out here on Arrakis, survival depends on power. Real, reliable, now. At Live Ops, we don't wait for the future. We power it. From deep desert outposts to high-demand spice refineries, our grid adapts in real time. Smart, mobile, unstoppable. Solar, wind, or thermal, whatever the desert gives, LiveOps makes it work for you. We keep Arakeen and Harko Village in motion. LiveOps, power in motion, life in control.
Yeah, that is smooth.
Just thinking about, they take care of us. They were always watching and available when we needed stuff. Probably more available than they should have been. But
Wolf and Thomas and the LiveOps team, they're great.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And now they're working behind the scene.
Yeah. Wolf always having a joke for us with the patch notes and updates and things. There was, going back to what we missed. There was our own kind of twisted community. We're all trauma bonded over all of the hard spots. That was a question I meant to ask before when we were speaking of trauma. How to balance this, and this is for how to balance the hard survival parts of the game. When we all we have no water, we have too much water. When you guys tweak the water for still suits, and suddenly we were like, we're dying. I've got an aluminium still suit. Why am I dying? Because you tweak the water output on it. How hard is it? You just pick a number and go, let's see what happens in a couple of days, or is there some?
I think there's there's a math to it, right? The systems designer and the game designers, they have their spreadsheets. They're tweaking all of the numbers. They can see, so they're basing this on calculations, and then that is based on an intent, but the intent has changed slightly. So some of you probably had some harsher periods during the beta where water was super harsh. Immediately as you landed, you had zero water. It started with zero water, and you were just drained immediately.
Without any signposting, how to drink plants.
You were guaranteed to die within the first 5 minutes.
I was like, I'm a Conan player. I can do this. There's.
The only reason I knew is because obviously I've followed the game so closely. Already a year at that point.
But that's
two plants had a video about it. I know what they look like.
Yeah, the balancing is, I'm really happy I don't have to do any of that. Jeez, Andrew dropped on the Discord at some point, a lot, right? And he was taking all that feedback. It was really good. And he was explaining to the players, why stuff was going this way and this and that. He was talking a lot with mostly a PvP player also and things. And we're really glad to have him because he's doing God's work with all the numbers and things, because there is so many numbers to consider in this game. It's completely crazy.
Yeah, right? It's nuts.
And people are talking about combat this and combat that, but there's not a lot of game with melee and ability and range and vehicles. And it's just and all of that kind of needs to work, right? It doesn't need to be balanced it's not balanced for PvP. We don't have balanced PvP, but still there's this person named Andrew who's looking at all these numbers and all the skills and all the this, and plus the buff you get and the passives and the weapons and the upgrade. All of that needs to kind of work, right? So yes, how do we do it? Well, we have really great big brain people working on it. That is not me.
Yep.
I love sitting down in the morning with Andrew talking about this kind of stuff. He's so smart when it comes to the numbers. It's just really good. And Alex as well, like Alex on the combat side. Like we have some really good, really good designers.
Well, the flip side of that though is now I've got a team of wiki elves trying to decipher what the hell all these numbers actually are. Because in proper game files, how it actually appears to actually works in practice. There are 3 different
You have to keep the secrets. You have to keep a couple of secrets before you and Veen just data mine everything.
Yeah, you put obstacles in our way. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. But,
We have the power of nerds on our hands.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I think it's interesting also because like our game feels like a game you want to return to, and a big part of that is actually the numbers in the end as well. Like that
Number goes up.
That it actually feels like you're progressing somewhere every time, right? Every time you play, you feel like you're making something better. Obviously, it's not just numbers. Not just
You're the one underwater now.
I'm the one. Maybe
because that kind of is leaning into thinking about numbers, and you've got all of these things to balance, because it's not just the PvP, which is what I think probably the more vocal crowd was focused on, but the ecology of things. How much water do you get? What does 15% on your bar actually look like? Because we're getting milliliters from our litter johns, and trying, what is all of these magical data things. There's the the numbers for how much water you get from a body versus this wind trap and that wind trap and this death still and that death still, and how much power are you getting, and how to balance all of that in a way that the players can attain it. And I'm watching people ask these questions. I'm like, put body in thing, water comes hour. That's
Yeah, you're just talking about water, which is one of the so many things, right? We have a really big Confluence page that was made to work between level designers and the economy team to just like the amount of chests you put in a location compared to. I made a thing about world progression, about difficulty and reward, and then we're working with the economy team also to make sure that you get the right amount of resource for around the right challenge, right? And then it's the amount of back and forth to make sure that if you do the testing station number 2 and you loot not all but almost all the chests, you will have enough advanced Serbach and capacitor to make your first bike. And that's another little variable in all of these things. And you've played the beta, so you've seen the steel grind, the first one, right? Or like even earlier in the beta, where one iron ingot was 400 water.
It was so hard. And we were only there for a week at a time.
Yes.
400 water, that's a lot.
Yeah, 400 water for one single iron ingot. That was something.
It was, yeah.
And you needed way more. You needed like 40 iron to make one ingot also.
It was, and then steel was worse. It was a speed bump to progression.
Yes. Oh yeah, that was slow, right? But again, right, like we were saying earlier, there's a lot of people who are sad that it's not like this anymore, right? Because they love the massive, painful grind, right?
But that was before we did the soft wipe, and I remember in Hugger Basin South specifically. So if you're at the lab and you cut east, there's a cave there, right? And the cave faces north out of the desert. You know what I'm talking about. There used to be what I call little islands. There was a little NPC camp that used to be right there. There was a lot more NPC camps. There was a lot more water flower plants around too. So you needed a lot of water, but there was also a lot of water on the hoof.
Yes.
that you could have access to. And then when you took those away from us, and I get why the game needed that. We were a little oversaturated with wall-to-wall scavs and down there, and it looked a bit like a junkyard with scrap metal. It was wall-to-wall scrap metal, and I get why those changes were made, but at the time the water was painful, but it got more so when you took all the bodies away. When you took all of our victims.
Then we rebalance the thing. That's the thing. Like Matt, our economy director, was always saying, like it's just like economy is balancing of the game, but economy is just a never-ending work.
Yeah.
Right? We're still gonna. The same thing with combat. The values are always gonna be balanced, right? Because new things are gonna pop. Players are gonna find ways to exploit different things. The quote-unquote meta is gonna change, and so on and so forth. So, balancing is is quite the work.
That's one thing that I like about Dune from my mid-player perspective is for PvE there isn't a single meta that's come out. You need water, you need 2 or 3 methods to get water. People have got the death stills, people have got the wind traps, and they're still going out there with the Dew Reaper. There's not one thing that okay, once I reach this point I'm doing the one thing all the time. There's not a meta for here's my weapons loadout, and this is going to be how it is all the time, everywhere I go, no matter what. You can, but it's not the most efficient way because some enemies are tougher than others. You don't want are going to be harder to melee than others because they shoot back. And so you have to be flexible, and I think that you guys have done an excellent job for keeping it interesting. I know lots of complaints about, well, I should be able to have this loadout. No, that defeats kind of the whole. Everything should be a conscious decision.
Yes.
Yep.
People like wanting combination weapons and combination tools. I'm like, no, pick one. Do you really need to have? Someone's like, well, I've got 30 stacks of this and the other, and I can't carry any loot. And I'm like, why are you carrying all this extra shit with you? Why do you
go to an adventure? You don't need to bring your construction tool.
Yeah.
Like, if you go during the day, you don't really need the Dew Reaper with you, and
you don't need your Dew Reaper or your scythe that takes up a ton of room, and 3 Deco Johns and 4 blood bags and all this stuff. Then I have to drop the loot. Where are you going that you're carrying all that?
Mm-hmm.
You put that in your buggy.
You're carrying too much. You need to make decisions. The game wants you to be thinking. But Dune is not a pew pew story. The book isn't pew pew. It's political. It's meant to be a thinking piece. You're supposed to think about shit before you go places.
Exactly.
People, it has always frustrated me for literal years at this point how people have said, "Oh, Dune is primarily melee-based combat." Is it? No, Dune is shield-based combat.
Yes.
That is the pivotal element of what makes combat in Dune. It's shields, whether you have them, whether you don't, whether it's appropriate to have them or the situation. Dune has always been a universe that makes logical sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And and that's it. You choose the right weapon for the right scenario, and that's why in the books you have everything from old school artillery up to las guns and laser weapons to darts and poisons and
that's why
fire and everything. It's like,
yeah, and that's why ranged uses darts, because shields are just a central piece.
And I think that's getting the feel of Dune shield the Holtzman shield is really difficult, but I do think you've nailed it. I think it's. You can tell that there's a lot of kind of effort in there to make it very different to other sci-fi shields in games, where it's not just a second health bar or like the Halo shield, which just recharges.
That was a very clear goal for Villar and Alex and Joel, like the entire combat team, when they started working on this triangle, if you want to call it that, between shields and ranged and melee.
Can't hear you anymore. Again. Nope.
You're saying my mic's bad?
I don't know.
Not really. I think it's the microphone itself. Like, it's not your closeness to it. At some point, you just stop.
How about now?
We heard how.
We heard how, and now.
Now.
Yeah, it's fine.
No. Hello.
I think it's the
we'll
internet more than our devices. I think it's something up with the internet.
Did we have another ad? Was that the old Aleke one?
I don't know, but I think getting that balance. I think you guys, the numbers. I can't imagine. Some brainiac has sat back with a formula and damage in, damage out equals fun. I mean, how do you quantify That's all our howling in the Discord. This sucks.
Again, it's Andrew's magic. He does what he does, and that's it. It's like, what is fun also?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
find fun. It's not the same thing you find fun, probably. I was listening. I was watching Shroud, right? I got it. I took it personally when he said it, but like since I was working at Battlefield also before, he was also a big Battlefield player, right? He's a really competitive guy, and then he was talking to his stream about how great the game is, and he said the sad part is that the PvE is the worst part of the game, right? Because he's a competitive PvP player and he just lives in the deep desert, right? And for him, it's like the PvE is the worst part of the game, right? And I'm like, well, that's your opinion, right? And others, of course, but it's just we have so many different things. So what is fun, right? So people are like, oh my god, mining is so fun in your game, right?
You
Just
guys have
putting it
done
in
such a good job to engage on many levels. That's the sandbox works so well for most people, and I think that's a good goal to have. Most of us are going to enjoy it. People looking for hardcore Rust are not going to enjoy it. People looking for
It's also
Palia are not going to enjoy it.
like
But
I think Ole said earlier or something. I don't remember. One of you said it, but if we devs, if we enjoy playing a game ourselves, I think it's cool. I think it's all right. And I said
Yeah.
it before, right? I have never played a game I made before, Dune, because I was not really enjoying the game I made before. As a player, I would not play the games. But
Can
yeah, I
Can you
have
hear me now?
2,000 hours in Dune. What?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, well, I can hear you. So, and then I played Dune so much, and I was looking forward to talk tonight, but I cannot play Dune right now, right?
we're feeling it.
So,
I have a little over 2,000 hours myself, and it's just so much fun.
Yes.
Like I'm always seeing Jeff just on Dune all the time. There's a little icon as he's playing, and it's like, shouldn't you be working right now?
I am working.
Work.
That's the funny thing, right? The funny thing is that I cannot just work, right? The moment I see a problem, I go on Slack. I'm like, hey, there's a problem here. Can we get Can we get a Jira log to do this and that, this? So, I'm always working when I play Dune. Sadly, right? Or like we think about a thing. I don't remember the thing I said earlier. Yeah, I was talking with Jimmy, the UI director, because I had so many contracts. I was looking at the map and I was like, ah, shit, which contract is which one? I was like, hey, could we have a track contract from the UI map? Like you press when in the icon, you press T and then you track this specific contract instead of going into the list, right? He was like, hey, that's a nice idea. I'm gonna add that to the future thing we can do. So it's just like yes, I play a lot. We all play a lot, but we're also working and thinking about how to improve the game and this and that. And
Exactly.
there's other things also.
You have to know your own game. That's
Yes.
a critical part of it. I see one person in the chat here said, I do enjoy mining, tracing the weak points. That feature, first of all, it was the first feature I produced on Dune back when I started 4 years ago. And I worked with Alex on that one and the team. And that feature was so hard to nail.
Yes.
So hard to nail. And I freaking love how it turned out. It's such a good feature. The team did fantastic on that one.
It's also been a work in progress because for a while some nodes didn't like to be scanned.
Yes.
Here's a quarter of the thing, and it's the rest of
still
the ground.
today, because the resource Ole also was also producer on that thing for a while, like what we call the RGD, the random resource distribution, right? How the world is built is every piece of rock and all the rock islands we have potential locations for nodes, right? So when it calls a storm, the nodes are reset, like right? But they are not manually placed. They are procedurally placed with a set of rules, and sometimes that fucking node spawned inside a rock. Damn it, right? And it's not like we cannot just go and move it because it's not manually placed.
Yeah.
There are other places though that I'm always a bit slappy slap with my team, because every single erythrite crystal in the game is manually placed, right? They are not procedurally generated. They are manually placed because we wanted specific gameplay with them that you have to climb, or you have to go into the mining galleries, or you have to use the buggy. There's a certain height. And again, because they are manually placed, well, sometimes the goddamn awful line is half inside the wall, and you cannot, the what we call the HEM, the high engagement
It's
mining.
called analysis mode. Is the player
Analysis
facing?
Well, it's so cool that when you cannot do it, it's so annoying as a player.
We feel it whenever we can't, and there's times I'm just like fuck it, and just like
Yes.
I do wonder though, because we teach it so well right now. Like back in the day, we didn't used to teach it that well, but right now we do. How many of the players right now do know that they don't have to use it? Like you can actually just mine the rock.
Yeah.
There's
I
times
think
I've been desperate enough. I'm just like,
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure in like the original tutorial section when you're escaping, I think you have to use it to destroy the rocks that are in the way.
Yeah, the first ones, yes.
You can't just zap them until they disappear. Now you have to use it.
Like
Right?
that's another thing we've learned with the beta, right? The amount of iteration of the first 15 minutes when you crash with Zantara and you go to the shipwright. The amount of time we improved this thing to make sure, because there's people
That
who
got really boring to test.
never understood how to mine the rock, right? And then they were going and they were playing for hours and hours, and they were like, "My God, I get so few resources. How can you be so far ahead?" And people were like, "Well, you just have to mine the blue line." And like, what?
blue line?
I played for 60 hours. I'd never seen a blue line. It's just like, thank you, iteration in the beta, and we've learned a lot of things because it's impossible for us to unlearn what we know as devs who've played this game over and over, right? So
our pain made it better.
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I did the tutorial 16, 17, 18.
90, 100.
Just getting stuff boring.
Yeah.
It's the boring part of testing when you have to, test something.
Imagine the people who worked on it.
Slightly.
Imagine QA. Oh my God.
Imagine QA doing that
I'd be a terrible
1,000 times.
I'd automate everything. I wouldn't be.
Every day the QA comes in and they do a test, like a smoke test of the game, and they test the same thing. And it's to make sure that the thing that gets into the next build is of good quality. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yes.
I'll turn the drowning Mojo again. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mojo underwater.
It's hard work.
It's hard work. Shit, an hour and a half. My God, Meg.
Hey, we're getting there. I got one more audio and a couple more slides left to show. So I can prepare to. Okay, so the next audio, everybody watch their speakers.
Tired of sand in all the wrong places? On Arrakis, a good hat isn't fashion, it's survival. At El Neca's, we craft the finest still-suit-friendly headwear this side of the shield wall. From moisture-locking turbans to worm-watching visors, style meets survival. On Arrakis, the sun'll boil your brains and the sand'll flay your skin. Out here, a hat ain't fashion, it's armor. El Neca's, forged for Fremen, smugglers, and anyone tough enough to walk the open dunes. Still suit-ready, sand-proof, sun-scorching style. No hat, no hope. El Neca's, cover up or get buried. Found in the market in Harco Village. El Neca's, cover your dome, rule the dunes.
But I don't know if Ole knows. Ole, Meg is the one talking. She's the one.
I didn't actually know. That's hilarious. That's fantastic.
Amazing.
I do all the voice recording, and some of you can hear the weird.
It's so cool.
You can hear the bike bump occasionally, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I don't care." And then you run into a bunch of filters, like, "Okay, can we make it sound like someone who sounds like they actually know what they're doing?" But yeah, it's one of the reasons it takes so long is because after like 5 takes, I'm like,
imagine making a game now.
I know. But at least I might be getting paid. then I'd be getting paid. So,
Yeah.
Honestly, does the voice actor of what's his name?
I don't know. I don't hear you, Mojo.
Oh, no. Can you hear me now?
Kind of.
How are you? Hello?
Your microphone always works when you don't talk.
Shush. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. I've forgotten who it was now. The Fenring. The voice actor of Fenring available for commission. I'd like to know his voice.
Yes.
Oh,
nope, you're stuck with me doing voices.
they'll do.
Let me see if I can bring up the PowerPoint again. There we go. Aha. So, yeah. 1 second. I got buttons. Okay. So we look at this one. I grabbed this one from your
That's me.
feed because you're like, hey, Mom, I made it. And I think I would be bragging about that to everybody too, because you guys have something to be proud of. You guys all built something.
It's been a journey.
Oh, yes, it's been one. It's been one. I remember like a year ago at least on the main Discord. I don't remember who. I said it before, I think, but someone asked me which project in my career was the hardest to make, and I just instantly laughed and said, "Dude, this is not even close. I've never worked on something that was hard like this. It's crazy."
Heffe is also on that. Yes.
Yes, I'm not cool enough to have a red arrow right there.
That's because this is pulled from my
That's my
Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep, that's pulled directly from his thing with the arrow and everything.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's true. Of course, it's not meant to put the arrow. Yeah, that's normal. Yes. Now you can have my full, long, hard to pronounce French name. Well, francophone. I'm not French.
I grabbed this from Natasha's, I think it is,
Yep.
and I was so envious because my attempt at making Dune themed desserts turned into a disaster. There's a whole bunch of D's. It was bad. It was the worst cookies I have made probably in my life. So I'm glad that you guys have got some recognition. I hope you guys had. At least, did they give you a pizza party? At least did they give you that?
They gave us so much good food this week. Or this week.
I have never celebrated a game like this one. We had a launch party, and then we had a party on the head start, and then we had a party this week for the launch. Right, all food, all cake, all champagne, all the things. Right, so I was just like, it's just never-ending celebration for that game.
And this week in particular, or since Head Start, I mean, I'm in the room that we call it the war room right now, but it's basically the room where I mean, in this room there's like 10, 12 people, no, 15 I would say, including this, that are constantly working to keep the game in a operational state, handling anything that pops up. And that's just this office, and then we have a Teams call with other offices like in Lisbon and in North Carolina and in Bucharest that also are part of this. So the office operational part of the Funcom has been fantastic, delivering stuff like this, like throwing us the best launch party openings, like cupcakes and cakes and food, and it's just been amazing. Like it's been really, really nice. So a bit more than pizza, but pizza was one of the days.
It's good that they've recognized how hard you guys have been working. I mean, because you guys gave us the statues. For people who haven't seen them, that Kulon is life sized. That's
a big statue. I added it to my base earlier today. I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
And then I was like, I'm gonna put Shai Hulud. I was like, oh no.
Shai Hulud is
it's massive.
huge.
Oh god, it's big.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a big one. Shit. Yep.
The Muad'Dib and the Bat Hawk are small, but I think that people were thinking like from Conan, was it Riddle of Steel had some small statues, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get no. These are big statues.
Oh yeah.
These are big statues.
I also just want to tell a quick story from our launch party or pre-launch party. One cool thing that quite a few of the so there was quite a few of the, I think pretty much all of the women in the office, they dressed up as Bene Gesserit. And as we approached or entered the party, we had to do the Gomj bar, and we had to pass through a passage of Bene Gesserit that were whispering to us. I got goosebumps. That was so cool. And they did this of their own, like this is something that they wanted to do. And they just nailed it. Oh, that was so cool.
The nerddom is strong. I think that's one of the reasons that the game is going to be so successful. Is it's not just, you know, a movie tie-in. There's a labor of love to it.
100%. There's so much love for the Dune IP and the Dune universe in this studio.
And I think I said it last time we talked, right? That's the, like, other survival game came out, and you know, Valheim was like the Viking experience. Not really, but it's just like Norse mythology thing. And then Palworld came in, and then of course they had the Pal, that's the Pokemon things, right? And Ark is all about the dinosaurs, right? But our game it's Dune. That's what it is. That's the key main factor thing for this game is the Dune universe, and how much we put resource into making this Dune game Dune, right? From the smallest detail, like I think I said it last time, like Joel went really hard on like item description and things, so you can learn stories if you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you listen to the audiobooks, and then you look at this thing and the name of that place, and then that thing, and then you know Caliph stand that you have in the Haga Basin South, right? There's a whole story with that guy, and then I remember someone posting somewhere, it might have been on Discord or something. I was like, shit, I was just reading all the thing. That dude is like the son of this guy, and then the thing and that. So yeah, there's a lot of thoughts all the way to the micro detail, right? Because that's our thing. The game that's the Dune thing, right?
It's not just a survival game, and every time someone says, "Well, I'm just going to skip it," it hurts me. And I didn't even write the stuff, but it hurts me because there's been such a labor of love and a depth that a lot of games don't have. You know, it's not an RPG, but man, it could be.
And every time I see an article or a comment that's like, "This is just another just another cash grab," I'm laughing so hard because they have no idea how much love is going into this, like the amount of effort the team has put into it.
I mean, can you hear me? Go on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, because I remember saying like this over 18 months and a year ago. People were kind of coming into the official Discord saying, "Oh, this is just clearly a cash grab game." I'm just like, okay, why can't you pre-order it then? Why can you literally not give cash to this supposed cash grab?
Yeah.
And they'd never had an answer for that. They were just like, oh, you know, because, I mean, pretty sure that IGN or certain game publishers said that you could pre-order now. I'm just like, no.
Well, what was it? Early alpha, early
access, late 2024. Right.
I love it. And we literally nobody ever said anything like this. And then, boop, early access August. We were all like, did someone just say something bad?
No, they're just making shit up.
No.
I wouldn't trust IGN to tell me the sun is hot. Okay, they just randomly make stuff up. That's all I can say about that one. Or my favorite one is it's a reskin of Conan, and I'm like,
yeah, we get that a lot. Because there's sand.
There's sand and there's climbing.
There's sand. There's climbing. There's sandstorm, and there's melee combat.
Oh.
And, yeah.
We've got to find what happened to that poor guy who came in like a year ago and said that, oh, this is the Dune before. How this is all a scam game. It doesn't exist. It's all vaporware.
he was pretty fanatic about it too.
Oh, he had insider information about how this.
He was going to prove it.
I know, amazing. And I was, me and you were just sat there, just like, oh, yeah, well.
It creates engagement.
Because I remember.
Question was sanity.
Yeah, I remember actually reading that and then sitting there on my other, having Discord on my left screen and just looking at my main screen with the game open. I'm like,
Oh yeah, when that was the funniest thing. Like Joel also said it right. All the people writing in the main Discord that were part of the beta, and they were kind of like really trying hard to lie and really make it sound that they were not in the beta, And
it was hard.
He teased me every single day.
Oh.
So hard. And then when Mojo and I were allowed to say, people would come in and I'd be like, no, because when we were allowed to talk about the first 3 to 6 hours down in Hugger Basin South, and people would, they would come in and say stuff, and Mojo and I'd be like, no, that's not that way. And inevitably it was, well, you're lying. Or you're just making stuff up. And I'm like, am I though?
I mean, remember that Joel and me got told that we were lying about the game and we didn't know anything about it.
Source?
So.
What's your source, man?
What's your source? Well, I am the source.
It was really funny when someone... it's just the other week where something about servers, and someone came in and just said, oh, well, they said something that was just wrong about servers. And then I kind of corrected it. Oh, no, it works like this. I said, oh, is the wiki wrong? I said, I wrote the wiki.
which wiki are you looking at? You're looking
and
at
it turned out they were on a different wiki. That was indeed very wrong.
Aye.
Speaking of things that are kind of wrong, I grabbed this off of Reddit because it was fucking hilarious.
Yes.
More or nothing.
I've seen people legitimately say skip the buggy, and I'm like, no. The buggy is so worth the pause in as a tool. It is so worth it.
It can hold a lot of stone or like minerals.
Yeah,
sure.
people want to go fly fast, right? And it's just like, but the buggy is so good, right?
The buggy is so good.
Like when you get the MK5 laser, and you have to go find jasmium to do duraluminum, it's like thank the god for its buggy, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of ornithopter trip. Right, if you don't take the buggy, so
we can't show it because it was from the NDA, but Stryker made a video from back when, and Mojo knows what I'm talking about, where he was doing a run around in the buggy to get jasminium, and you're fighting the radiation, and it was yakety sax of him just hopping the buggy, just
yes.
Because it's the best way to get something that's so dangerous. We're going to get the erythrocyte because it's tedious. When you guys took it away from us and cleared those galleries, we actually had to go, fight for it.
Joel probably, he names everything. That was probably Joel or Matt.
He probably named it.
It's probably Matt or Joel both.
I don't know if I can say it.
Strabidium.
I remember in the beta at some point, someone was like, I remember it was, and Joel replied instantly. It was like, why is copper blue? It makes no sense. Why is copper blue in the game? Copper is not blue.
You're right, though, yeah.
And it was like, just Google azurite, and then you will see. Like, it's just like...
He had an answer for everything lore-based. I remember there was an NPC, I don't know if the dialogue is still even there, but said something about old Earth and Greece. And someone was like, well, this dialogue is wrong. And because of this, that, and the other. And Joel came back and was like, so you think in 10,000 years that they, not only have they lost the planet, that they might have the lore wrong? He's like, so is there something technically wrong with what I'm saying? Or,
Yeah, exactly.
He was always very ready to...
Hey, we were talking about you. Shit.
Yep. Stick around. I got your stuff. But Death Stills, definitely, if you have the power to run them, are very effective. That's the balance. They take up a lot of power versus the wind traps, which are slower, versus having to go out and watch the clock for dew. I mean, there's always this balance of things. You can't rely on just one thing if you're trying to get production up and going. So there's always something to do.
Freaking Dead's still at 200 power. Damn it, Andrew.
I know. But, in an hour, you could have a lot of water if.
I love how it's animated as well. Like it's so nice.
It is. I grabbed this from somebody from Reddit. So if you're here, I'm grateful. One of the complaints that I think the most common complaint is crappy builders or selfish builders blocking the road and blocking stuff. And someone on Reddit found this or made this, and so this is an excellent example of how to build friendly for your siege and not be a jerkbag.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's
beautiful.
Such a nice person.
Isn't it though? And just you can get around. Now you also have cover.
Definitely not on Harkonnen.
Yeah, exactly. No Harkonnen would do that. But have you seen the post? Have you seen the post on Reddit that someone blocked the path with the base, and then their server came together and built and enclosed the base.
I saw
with
that.
The base.
I saw that.
It's like that. Yeah. That's wild.
But that's what the community taking care of business, and then expectation of scoot it 2 blocks to the left and don't block the road. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. But there's another cool Reddit as well where there was somebody posting, "Oh, this is such a douche move," and then they showed a blocking base, and then the person saw the Reddit and then posted or there was a reply later where they actually built a tunnel through it.
Yes.
And the person actually saw it and
yeah, they were like, "I'm sorry, I have never thought about it, but thank you for calling me out." That was really good. The community is really great. It's really amazing how great it is.
Part of it is people not. Some people didn't notice or realize that they were blocking a major throwaway because they just thought the place looked cool. And some people are doing it on purpose. People are blocking water. People are building big things on water patches and things like that. That's really annoying. But don't be that guy. It's not hard to build a tunnel or build up one. Striker, if you're here.
I saw Striker in the chat.
I know if he hasn't wandered off. This is something he did. This was funny to me. An experiment.
And that one was fun.
The only way to be on the sand is naked.
Of course. What is happening? Come on. Not my idea, I was just testing.
I see.
Are you kidding me?
Interesting.
Yeah, that didn't work. Can I distract
Well, that's a first. That is a first.
Hopeful. That's very hopeful.
A bold attempt.
Yes, an attempt was made. And this was the other one that he said. This is a striker flex. This is a guy who has spent many hours in the.
Just so everyone knows, Striker is the person who has played the beta the most, by far, not even close.
A lot more.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. He's one of the OGs that's been there.
Way too many hours. I don't know. I don't understand. It's fun.
But then you get this. This is.
Oh, I did that earlier. I did that. It's so cool to do.
I've often wondered. I figured you could, but I'm like, could I?
Yeah, it reminds me. I wish the interaction would be better because it reminded me of my time on Battlefield.
It's
so cool, right?
You can do the Battlefield trick.
Yeah.
This is such a Battlefield moment.
I've done that before, where I can just vulturing along. There is the angle just right, but you can leave your Foxer and then grapple hook onto it and then ride on top of it.
What? I haven't tried that. That sounds so cool.
I've done the first time I did that was by accident because my game crashed, and then when I logged back in, I was just surfing on top of my now empty Foxer.
Wow!
The entire time, and then I realized this is too much deliberate. So it took a little while to get right, but I've managed to do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not again, since I was working in Battlefield, right, and people love doing those maneuver and things, and I'm surprised I haven't seen that much, or at least not at all, videos of people doing like going, because there's no collision on the wings, right? Going into holes and jabble the frit or something, and doing some barrel roll around.
Not that we can share. I have some, but we're not allowed to show it.
For people who, now that the game is live,
When I'm streaming the game on Discord to people, they're always just kind of panicking. It's just like, why do you keep, setting your top of the glide and then just going over the map for you? Like, not even looking where you're going. They get terrified of it. It's really
I have noticed new players. There's a thing that you guys need to know about flying. Go high and vulture. Your fuel economy. This is not what are you driving Suburbans? I mean, come on. Your fuel economy. You hit altitude. You go to 650. You hit it. You dip down until you hit 162 and you level out. And you can glide a long ways that way. And just stop trying to actually fly at 300 meters because the worm's going to get you and you're going to be gassing it anyway.
And if you really, really do hate your fuel, just climb up to the top of the Sentinel, Godzilla Rock.
That's the best stuff.
Down, and then it'll eat your fuel in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, but that's a role we had to do for the world because it was really important for me and the art director and me, right? We don't want people to go too high because the world looks like a pancake, right? So yeah, we talked with Billy R and things like just have like the higher you go, the faster the fuel burn. So I think you can probably reach 1,000, and then your fuel is like.
Yeah.
Have you tried spawning your ornithopter on top of I don't know which like any of the highest points?
Yeah. Either
you guys put a thopter in the mouth of the Sentinel. I was like, are you trying to tell us to stop doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like trying to wedge out, and it's in 2 seconds popping.
It's Godzilla Rock. I'm even going to make the redirect.
Godzilla Rock.
The Sentinel.
When it popped up the first time I noticed it on the east side. It looked like a big cat, but then on the west side, like, no, that's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla.
It's a lion. Come on. It's a lion mouth.
The cat.
Do you remember the first version of that lion?
Yes. Oh yes, I do.
I remember we were like, was that there before? Because I remember going to it became Sentinel City and getting my ass kicked, and then the soft wipe happened, and we went back, and I'm like,
the black market at Mirzaba was in Sentinel City a long time ago, and then we moved it to Mirzaba for narrative reason. It was a whole different thing happening in there.
Yeah, stuff moved around because of our feedback.
Yes.
Yeah.
World in narrative stuff. It was also the time that you've probably never seen it. It was even before the beta there. The Gold Lion. Only probably remember that.
That's the one I mentioned.
That's what you want. Okay, There was a gold lion statue in the Vermilius Gap somewhere. A massive gold statue. And we removed it.
Everyone was like, what is this?
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck is this?
I was going to say, I remember even going into Sentinel City early on. I remember trying to go through and fell through the ground because I found a hole in the mesh. That was all I did.
Oh, yeah, we don't have any of that.
Several months.
There's no hole.
I just looking around and turn around. It's just like, Meg, where have you gone? You just disappeared under the mesh. You're part mole. I swear. You just disappeared under there.
It's because I'm skinny and I just fall through.
Yeah, exactly.
Disappear every time. Especially the big oh my god.
Oh.
It would
all
be
right.
fun right? Trying to dig up some old stuff, but yeah, that's a marketing thing.
Yeah. I have a lot of things, old things to have. Question for the staff. Oh, yeah. You said about resourcing.
This is a common question. It's the only reason I grabbed it is because it's a very common question.
It's not supposed to. It's a bug. But that's simple as that. It's being investigated literally right now. We flagged it to the team 2 days ago. It's a bug. It's annoying as feck. I'm an achiever and a completionist, so yes. That's gonna come back. That's the reason.
The reason
it's the design reason. It's a nasty bug that was not caught up. beforehand, so it's gonna come. Like, you don't lose the percentage of the camp that you've seen before, though. It's just annoying because they're not on the map anymore, so you don't know which one you went to, right? Which is fucking annoying. Excuse my French again.
But yeah, report bugs. Use the functionality in the game to report bugs. That way, it's got your Steam ID and your location and all that stuff. It's better to do it that way than go to the Discord and complain, because the Discord doesn't know who you are, doesn't have your Steam ID, doesn't have any information about what caused the bug or where you were or what was happening. So
Also,
that's not helpful.
Also, it grabs a screenshot and you can attach your own screenshot, so it's super useful.
Yes.
That way, if you are not in a safe spot when the thing happens, you can scoot away and then report, because doing bug reports from the deep desert is not safe.
And we do actually report, read your bugs. They're super useful. So QA has been working their way through a few of the bugs lately, and kind of, because there's a lot of the same stuff, so you're kind of collating them, and it gives a good picture of what's going on.
Yeah. So hey, we're actually kind of keeping it down to the 2-hour mark. For once,
I thought you were joking earlier.
We have so much. I was telling Dean, we could have probably gone another hour if the game hadn't launched like right that second. So, because there's just so much to talk about. It's exciting times, and we are pumped and excited, and we can finally say stuff that, these things happen and we're cool, and we cried and threw shit, and y'all kept coming back, and it was a big group effort. So.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming. Thanks, Mojo, for coming back. I know you were sick last time, and then the whole launch thing, and life happens. So we're just glad everybody's back, and it was great having both of you.
Thank you.
Sorry about the delays getting on, because shit happens and everything broke, and Twitter was Twitch, the thing was not happening a bit, but. Thanks everybody for all the subs and the follows and all that great stuff. Remember to watch for the drops this week. And
thanks to our moderators.
Oh yes.
Nice Snaps and Sharp.
Yep.
Must be easy to be moderator on your channel.
I like the sass.
I like the sass. Jeff will drop by Stockholm with the VR headset. Shit. I don't want to puke. It's just like...
I can't imagine.
Nah,
anyway,
I apologize for being drowning Mojo for a bit.
I think part of it is the software.
Yeah, blame the control. Don't blame the controller. Can I ban him now? Are you talking about me?
You wish.
No, be nice.
All right,
we want Jeff and Ole to come back.
We have.
He's like, no.
20, 19, 17 seconds left, and then we'll have 2 hours. So.
Okay.
But it was fun. Thanks again for having me. It was great. Good chat. Fun little things. Really smooth. Nice.
I need to go home before my wife.
Yes, it is.
If she's still here in the chat.
Es ist so spät. Thanks again, and I guess this is a good time to say goodbye.
Yes.
Thanks for the time.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.
Find the button.
Push the button.
Push the buttons. Buttons. Are you pushing the button?